classified documents leaker. Has anybody else been kind of following this around? I wrote an article a couple weeks ago, like right as stuff was starting to come out about this, that the when it came to Ukraine, like how much the troop levels, and it was really interesting because at the time it was just, it was talking actually about what the documents were. So like the documents showed troop and supply levels for the Ukraine and the Russian army. Oh, hi, babies. Ukraine and Russian armies, except for in those documents, they were doctored. And so it was interesting because both sides thought that the other side released it. And it was like some sort of psyops to get them to either like feel like their troops to be more like have less morale, or think that they were, everything that they were going through was a psyop, or something was going on. And so each side blamed each other for this leak. It was funny. So with that, and then, so as you may have known, so the other day, what was it, Friday? Let me see. I think it was Friday. So they arrested airmen. So from the Jack Teixeira from the Air National Guard, who basically was for being the leaker of these classified documents. They said, so basically what happened is he posted these documents on this Discord server. And it was like a Discord server, like a private Discord server that he was running that had like 20 to 30 members. Most of like everybody in this Discord server were like, again, they were all minors, they were kids. They didn't really, they really weren't up on things. And he was posting stuff in there just to like impress these kids, like so that they were in the know, as they said. Like one of the kids told the Washington Post that he was like his best friend. And so when he wasn't like, this kid wasn't going to turn him in. He knew his name, he knew all the stuff, and wasn't going to turn him in. And it was really interesting. Now, there's been some conversation about him because, again, he was just trying to be a big man and show his friends he knew stuff, and what was going on, and keep them in the know. But the issue, and so it wasn't like, anybody like Edward Snowden or even Chelsea Manning, who was trying to get this information out to the public so that they knew what was going on. It was posted in this private Discord server where they said that they kind of knew that they weren't supposed to show this to anybody else. They weren't supposed to release this information anywhere else. And so, but then obviously like some of these documents started popping up on other social media sites. And so that's when everybody started, figuring it out. But one of the interesting things is they said that he had this ability to predict or know stuff before it even became like national news. One of the claims was that the shooting in the Buffalo supermarket shooting was like the government knew about him and knew it was going to happen before it happened, but they let it happen. Like the FBI let it happen so that they could get funding. Like that's one of the conspiracies that came out from that, like that from the documentation. As well, we know from the documents in a report that we know that the U.S. may have more, allegedly has. I'm just gonna say allegedly so I don't get kicked off YouTube. Because okay, so Marjorie Taylor Greene went to Congress last week to say because one of the documents shows that we may have people on ground in Ukraine, which we said that we don't. Apparently, the documents showed that have we have special forces soldiers, and we need to know how many of those soldiers we actually have on ground and what we're doing. So we may be more involved in the Ukraine war than we actually thought about it. As well, we know report came out today. One of the things I saw today, one of the documents actually showed that our JDAMs are GPS guided JDAMs are missing targets because we provided the JDAMs. So the JDAMs we provide are missing the target because Russia has like GPS jamming capabilities, and so it's messing up the GPS system. So that's why they're not hitting. So they're actually hitting they're hitting far less targets than they should be. As well, some of the JDAMs were not functioning properly, so when they hit the ground, they never exploded, which it seems like, we've been told over and over again that Ukraine's winning this war and Russia is losing so much, but after these documents, it shows that the government's just been lying to us over all of this stuff. So it's really interesting. And then there was actually this really interesting report. So I didn't know this. So the New York Times, one of their freelance writers, was actually able to, like, they talked to Textera's stepfather, who was retired from the military. They talked to his stepfather like hours before he was arrested. And so the New York Times actually made contact before the FBI did, which is kind of interesting because and so they had a report this weekend, which was kind of cool. Like I said, their freelancer Eric Toller walked through the steps that he used. Like, internet sleuths can be amazing sometimes. Like, he got tipped off that there was more information on this Discord server. He followed it was for the game Minecraft, followed it into that area where he found more than 100 other images. He followed the user that had posted it there and found out that he was part of this other Discord server called Thug Shaker Central, which is the exclusive Discord where that all happened, where Textera posted under the name OG, and that's where they pulled out and they were looking at some of the games these other people were playing in what other usernames. So it was able to go in, and it's kind of like going into a URL and finding out other usernames that person had used, and one of the usernames came back as J Textera. And then they followed that down its rabbit hole, and they found out, they went to it, and it was the countertops. So they looked, don't piss off Kiwi Farms or 4chan. I don't even want to go over there and look what their stuff is. But it was like they looked at the white granite countertops that one of the documentation was sitting on, and it matched up with the white granite countertops that was in one of Textera's Instagram pictures, and that was the link. Like, that they knew they had him at that point. And then again, they got there a couple hours before the FBI had actually arrested him. Now the FBI said that they had been surveilling him for a couple days before they arrested him, but it's interesting that they didn't stop these journalists from going up to the door when they did. But apparently the authorities wanted to arrest him when he went into work, and then he missed work that day. And so they knew that he knew that they were concerned. And so they went and they arrested him then. Internet autists are scary, I can imagine. Which is kind of what, the whole Kiwi Farms 4chan, Kiwi Farms is kind of scary, to be honest, because they have I mean, they've literally gotten like doxed people to the point where they committed suicide, which is insane. And if I'm not mistaken, Keffel's had the site taken down, but I think the site's back up. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. And then if you ever want to find someone that distrusts the government, go find a veteran. Yeah, I am a veteran myself. I don't trust the government very much at all. In fact, I do. I mean, I'm a minarchist, so I believe that the only thing that the government should do is have a standing military to defend against. Is to have a standing military to defend against invasion, and that's it.